Welcome into another episode of the Immigrant Podcast. I'm your boy, Nikolai Hill. Program is brought to you by Nothing But Net International. We appreciate you taking the time out to be with us here today. Super Bowl week. Yeah, you see me rocking a Cowboys jersey. You guys have seen me in a Raiders hat before and probably other apparel. Not much of a jersey guy these days, but I am a Cowboys fan. A lot of people could probably guess that because I'm a huge Deion Sanders guy. So I'm a Cowboys fan. I've been this since the late '90s, and he's been the reason why I shifted this way. But we're talking about the Super Bowl, of course. Another amazing matchup: Eagles versus the two-time defending champions. Kansas City Chiefs. And, it's a matchup that a lot of people that look like me, of course, we're talking about a regular black male, we love to see. There was a point 30 years ago when I just started watching the game of football. You couldn't find many black quarterbacks playing the position, which is the highest position in sports overall, which is the quarterback position in the NFL. So only 32 jobs. And we did a program earlier this year talking about half the jobs finally being black guys, even though 80% of the league have been minorities for a long time, 60 plus percent being African Americans with a few Hispanic Americans and others sprinkled in there of mixed nature, Pacific Island and all that stuff. So the league has shifted to be in a league that is predominantly African American, but we haven't seen the quarterbacks until of recent. The names, we've already gone through them, but we're going to talk about the main two today. Patrick Mahomes, who's a three-time Super Bowl champ, a two-time defending champ. He's already etched his name in 8 years. Probably one of the greatest quarterbacks and is in the conversation for the greatest quarterback of all time. And that's just absolutely phenomenal. Jalen Hurts takes the backseat to no one. This guy, I've loved him since college. And a lot of people didn't see this ascension from Jalen Hurts' disposition. But I always thought he had the skills, had the ability, and most of all, he had the mentality and the makeup to play the position, which is a very cerebral position. In the last matchup that happened 2 years ago, a lot of people would argue and say that he was probably the better player, the quarterbacks, and maybe best player overall in the game. So, and all he's done since then is had another fantastic season after that Super Bowl performance. Had a sluggish season in between then, but has come back this year. Doing remarkable things for the Philadelphia Eagles and for his teammates. One thing I want to touch on is the quality of the organizations that once again see themselves in the Super Bowl. I don't think it's an accident that the Kansas City Chiefs as an organization is in the Super Bowl. I don't think it's an accident that the Philadelphia Eagles are in the Super Bowl. For the last 20 years and ever since I've been on this planet, the Eagles and Kansas City Chiefs have been competitive teams. Now, I'm not taking a slight against the Cowboys. We had our run when I was a younger guy, but we haven't had the kind of consistency that those teams, the consistent product that those teams put out on an annual basis. We don't think that the other teams in the National Football team, not all of them, but the majority of them, have made football, the organization, and the fans and players the main thing when it comes to the football team. I think a lot of teams focus more on ownership. Some teams focus more on money, and a lot of teams just don't have a proper plan either way. But the Philadelphia Eagles, I can talk about whether the fact they've hired African-American coaches. They've had African-American quarterbacks littered all over. They were one of the first ones to, ascend an African-American quarterback, Randall Cunningham, to the ultimate status of being their starter. And the Chiefs just consistently made good decisions. Not only when the Eagles let go of Andy Reid to hire Andy Reid as their head coach, because he's been a winner, even though he didn't win the Super Bowl with the Eagles, 4 straight NFC Championship games. But the organization has stayed patient, and it took a few years for them to get the guy, Patrick Mahomes, who they don't grow on trees, the greatest quarterback of all time. But they got the guy, and because they are the organization they are, prepared, when the quarterback came, he just slotted in and made everything a lot better. So, big time Super Bowl this week in New Orleans. We haven't seen a big event in New Orleans since the playoff game for the College Football Bowl series, which a tragic thing happened on the streets of Bourbon Street in New Orleans. So we're hoping not to see a repeat of that kind of stuff. But this is their kind of city. This is what they were made for. This is their arena, if you go quote unquote again. And we're expecting the city of New Orleans and the Superdome itself, Caesar Superdome, which I think is called right now, to do an amazing job. I'm wishing both teams good luck. Yeah, I'm leaning a certain way, and I won't let you guys know that right now. But whether it's before or after the Super Bowl, chime in and let me know what you guys were thinking. Cowboys, we're going to be back, baby, one day. It's been another episode of the Immigrant Podcast. For your boy Nikolai Hill. Take it easy.